It's time for Measure Twice.
Welcome to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential. And you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk, 95.3 MNC. We are brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything, windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now open in Granger next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You could visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. That's my fifth grade teacher used to say that to me. You guys are busy texting while we're
each
on
other.
the air. Yeah.
No, I'm just reading.
They're like 1 foot away from each other, texting like school children in here. And I have a pressing question, and I'm feeling ignored. This is
I'm with you now. I'm with you.
I'm ignoring you.
So I know this. I might ask this every year, and every year I don't remember. I don't think so, though, but maybe I do. I don't understand. This is probably a Joel question, but I honestly don't understand ice dams. I don't understand why. I don't understand. Like, why is there an ice dam? Why is it that ice forms on that eve? It makes no sense to me.
Because it's cold.
I get it's cold.
It's winter.
Well, how come there's not an ice dam at the top?
Because it runs down.
But why doesn't it melt off? It's on the roof. The other snow is melting. Why isn't that snow melting?
Because the eave is typically it's vented, and it's sticking out from the wall, so it's not, that part doesn't have any heat. It's just cold. The reason the snow's melting from the bottom usually, and that's what will cause the ice dam, is that you're losing a bunch of heat from through the attic from your house. But that hot air, since hot air rises, that hot air is not making it out to your eave. That whatever's sticking out 12, 16 inches, 2 foot, whatever.
Your soffit.
Yeah, on your soffit.
Is that a sign of something bad?
Means you're losing a lot of hot air.
Insulation.
You need insulation.
You need insulation where?
In your attic.
You'll probably
all together now.
Yeah.
But in the whole attic or just at the eave?
No. You don't want it in the eave. That needs to breathe.
Have you ever looked at the soffit and seen the like the opening, the grid, the open like a grill type thing?
Yeah.
That's for airflow.
Right.
You don't want to cover that.
Right.
With insulation.
And we've talked about that.
Right.
But when I look at a house and I see, frozen Niagara Falls, I don't know what to call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It blows my mind because I'm like, how? I don't understand. It should all melt. Why isn't it melting?
Because
there?
it does melt, but because what Joe was saying, that where the soffit is, that's cold air. So it once that melting water hits the cold, it freezes, and it just keeps building up.
But it sounds to me like that can never stop. That's an inevitability.
You're going to have some melting. You will have some heat loss, but it is greatly reduced if your attic and walls are properly insulated, and if all the penetrations through the ceiling are properly sealed. So
if you have a vaulted ceiling, right? There's no attic there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a space.
There's space.
Right.
And in that space, it should be filled up with insulation.
To the appropriate amount.
Yeah. And I'm not really talking about my house. I really don't have... I have one place where it gets it, and I understand why, because it's an overhang.
Yeah.
It's not...
Well, the house that we're currently... Like one of the places that we're currently working on, we're dealing with that because we're framing out a roof, tying in a roof, and it's like, man, we can't. This ice is ridiculous.
Yeah, and
because it keeps snowing and it keeps melting and it keeps freezing.
Right, and you're just up there.
Need to get some insulation into this attic.
But if you have like a deep overhang, what's the solution?
Insulation in your attic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it will freeze out there, no matter what.
But you reduce
The idea is to keep it from melting that much. The ice dam is just a lot of melting all at once. It's not.
It's to keep your attic cold. Then.
Yes.
See, that's where I wasn't picking it. It just dawned on me. Did you see the light bulb? It got brighter in here.
It did. His eyes opened a little wider.
Yeah, because it just dawned on me. I'm like, oh, you're keeping your attic cold, not. Well, I know. There's people in the car or whatever going, "You're an idiot." You know what? Maybe I am. I don't know. We know I can't spell. That's a fact.
Don't feel bad, neither can I.
Okay, so if your attic's too warm, that's the thing. That's what you're saying.
And then your utility bills are going to be higher because all that heat is escaping.
Yeah. And that was when we moved from a house that was built in the mid 90s to a house that was built in, late 2020, 19 or something like that. It was like, what were we living in? Like, wow, it's a big difference. The technology is way different.
Oh, yeah.
Way different.
Oh, yeah.
A pretty remarkable difference. And for not really that much more money. I mean, it's really just incorporated in the house now. Like, it's not like you feel that bump in technology, but whoa. When we had the insulation guy in, what was
Corey?
Corey, yeah. That was we got to have him back in because we could talk for 10 hours on that.
Yeah, there's so many different
it was pretty crazy.
And you wouldn't think it. You think insulation's insulation.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, you would think, it seems very simple.
But it's complicated.
It is not. It is not. I did my, put the insulation around the hot water, like a sleeve around the hot water.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a 20% difference in the speed at which you get hot water in a regular hot water heater. You guys probably have the fancy, like.
No, I don't.
I don't. No.
My other house did.
So did mine.
Did you miss that?
I do.
I
do
drastically. Yes.
We're talking about.
I can't stay in the shower for an hour.
The tankless hot water heaters.
His wife sees him a lot more though now, and the paper's less soggy that he's reading in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a roommate in college that would tape the newspaper to the outside of the shower door, and he would read the newspaper in the shower.
Oh, okay.
That's silly.
And he would like squeegee it.
Okay.
That's a lot of work.
Hey, you know what? He was a lot of work. So what were we just talking about? We were talking about the insulation,
and then insulation and
the instant hot water.
The instant hot water.
That is that's a hidden treasure, and I've vacationed in a house that had that, and I'm like, this is magical.
Yeah, I had it in my other house.
It is like magic.
I wanted to put it in the house I'm in now, but it was ridiculously expensive.
Because you had to move the gas line? Is that the...
It was, because it's an old house, it was more complicated, and they could do it, but it'd be like, it's like, nah, I don't think I'll do that right now.
That's how mine is, too.
Yeah. It's like, it just didn't make sense to spend that kind of money.
We could do it, but it makes no sense being in this hot water heater is only 4 years old.
It makes sense.
Oh, it most definitely makes sense.
Are you that much of a proponent?
Well, and they're so much more efficient.
Yeah.
Because you're just heating up water when you need it.
Yeah. Honestly, if you have a 3-year-old hot water heater, I would take that out and put it in a heartbeat. Put
a little tannerite in it, shoot it.
A little tannerite. Leave it in the backyard. That's what I would do with it.
Just make sure you have a water softener.
Yes.
You have to have a water softener.
Right. Is that
but your house was built in.
Yeah, it has a water.
It's gonna be easy. Yeah, it's easy. Yeah. It's so easy. It takes up no space in your.
Does it have to be along a wall?
It's mounted on a wall.
Yeah.
Does it
it's
have
mounted,
to be?
and it's usually
plumbed.
an exterior because of it. It needs to go directly outside.
It vents out.
Oh, I see. Oh, because it's right. It's not even an electric one.
You don't want an electric one of those. It would take way too much electric.
I can't even imagine. Yeah, it would.
We had somebody actually want that a couple years ago on a major renovation, and it was like It was just silly. We would have had to put on another sub panel just to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, that sounds like, I don't know, I'm just.
They're worth every penny.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is like, that's some of the most conviction I've seen on Chris's face in a long time. Like, okay, I believe you.
He expects you to have one.
By the next week.
We're going to have one. That and the screen door that I haven't ordered yet.
Screen door.
Yeah, I've been trying to put a screen door in for.
Are you doing it yourself?
I shouldn't.
No. Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't recommend it.
No. I got to find somebody I know who loves me, who put it in for me.
He knows a couple guys,
Might be
I guess.
In this room.
Doors are tricky.
You're right. I have battled doors. Yes. Ones that won't stay closed, ones that you can't close. I mean, like, I've done it all.
Why is it leaning?
Where's that light coming from in this room? That's me.
Yep.
Yeah, and the solid core doors, don't get me started. Like, they're even more technical to handle. But when we come back, we could probably talk about that. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Customer Modeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We are brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom open right now in Granger next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. Envisioning your home's potential is the name of the game today. We were talking about, ice dams, and it's kind of like a potpourri. Then we got into the tankless hot water heaters, and we realized that's, if you don't have one, you're gauche.
Yeah.
No. You're not. You have a deficiency, I guess, in your...
Yeah. Your life is not complete.
Right. To me, what I picked up from you guys in tankless water heaters is that's when you get one, it becomes a necessity because you realize the advancement.
Yeah.
It's only a
the
luxury.
Advantages to it are just
And I know you can't answer this question with certainty, but I'm still going to ask it. In your opinion, are they as reliable as a hot water heater?
I think they're more reliable.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
So people, when they, like, first generation, maybe even some of the second generation, people have had issues with those because of how they were engineered. And you have to have a water softener, like Chris has said, because of how it heats the water. The little coil that the water runs through that superheats the water as it's going through. If that gets corroded, you're going to lose pressure, and then it has a mechanism that will shut it off so that it doesn't overheat. So there can be an issue if you don't have a water softener.
Right. But it sounds to me like it would be a component that is serviceable.
I don't know. It could be, yeah. I don't know how much that would be, though. You know?
Right. But
I think you would most likely have to replace it. I would flush mine out once a year, and it ran for years. And we had 9 people in our house taking showers, and I had teenage boys that were showering like 3 times a day.
That was a necessity.
Yeah.
You would overwhelm a 50-gallon tank.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Your 5th shower,
Yeah. But we would, we ran that thing, like, we put it away wet, like it was, it was ridden hard. And never, with the one that we got, which is a Nevion, fantastic. They got the engineering dialed in.
So let me ask you, to me this is a natural progression, but probably not, but to me it is. Does that mean, so when you see a pot filler on a stove, that's not using your hot water heater. What is that using to heat? A pot filler?
Yeah, I know what they are.
That's run off of your
That's run off the hot water.
Huh. It just seems hotter. How does it come out so hot?
It's just hot water.
Yeah, there's nothing to it. It's just your regular plumbing. There's no...
Okay, so...
Unless somebody runs something special
was in a house that that water that came out was about 200 degrees.
So they may have had an instant hot water
Yes, that's
attached
what I'm
to
talking
it.
about.
But that's a separate. That's separate.
That's completely separate.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
yeah.
its own. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, well, and you can get those like where your sink, 'cause
Yeah.
some people will have like the water filtration system that you can get the instant hot out of that too, and that comes out near boiling.
Yeah.
temperature.
Yeah.
So it'd be the same thing, but on a larger scale.
Yeah. Attached to their specifically to the pot filler.
Right.
Because that's a luxury, but it's, it's convenient. You want to talk about boiling water in about a minute.
There's a lot of people that think they want it and then they have it and they're like, yeah, I don't even actually use it.
Yeah, I hear that all the
No, I
time.
think
Do their
you
last
would
names end in an I?
No. I imagine that you would. But
Yeah, I hear that a lot. That they put it in and they've never officially used it
Right.
or minimally.
So my Aunt Betsy, but she's Italian. You know what I mean? Like,
Pasta.
yeah, she's making risottos, and she's doing a lot of double boiler type stuff.
Is she older?
Yeah,
So the convenience.
listening, Chris.
So the convenience.
I can't
From up
make
above
that,
or what?
Make
I
that
don't know.
claim. No, she's still with us, but we don't talk age and weight.
So for her, it's a convenience because she doesn't have to fill a pot from a sink and carry it
For sure.
to the stove.
For sure. You're right.
Yeah.
For sure. But, my cousin who bakes, she had one installed. But they're, again, these people are probably cooking more than an average,
If you're a real cook, I mean, and that cooks a lot because a lot of
yeah, a lot of people
don't.
cook, but they're not, it's not like to the extent.
then they're absolutely worth it.
Yeah. But that's its own system. There's some sort of element or
Yeah.
something near it that is providing that hot water. It's not a different setting on your.
No.
I know that's a dumb question, but when we're talking about instant
Well, a lot of
hot
people
water,
wonder.
I'm like, well, I guess it sounds like to me like there could
continuous.
be continuous.
It's a continuous hot water system.
It's not
is what-
instant hot.
Right.
Right.
Instant hot is kind of what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, because a lot of people use that. It'll be on the sink.
Right.
They're instant hot where
Because they're making tea.
Tea.
Right.
Yeah. And stuff like that. That my sister has that unit, and if you accidentally think that's drinking water, boy, are you surprised when that comes out.
Why is it steaming?
This is burning
Why
me
did I
through the
burn my
glass.
hand?
Yeah.
Don't use the glass.
But the pot filler in general, that is something that is pretty. I don't have one, but I wish I did
Yeah.
because it's pretty convenient. My daughter got one installed. It's like she's like,
We working with the client now that they wanted one, but we couldn't because it was on an exterior wall.
so no good.
No good.
You can't like go through the floor. Like you can't, right? 'Cause
No.
Never mind.
That would take. Yeah, you.
They have to frame out the wall, make
Yeah.
it deeper to accommodate the insulation for it.
Yeah, that's not.
So it wasn't practical to do. So
But the that is a really. It's one of those where you don't know you want it until you have it, and then you're like, I'm never not having it. Like this is something that's gonna stay. That and great lighting over a stove.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I think people overlook when they're if they're
Well, most
designing a
people
kitchen
don't
on
even
their own.
realize how bad their lighting is.
They don't know. Right? You're right. You're right. Until you turn till there's light, and then you're like,
Right.
whoa.
Yeah.
When you're designing a kitchen, in my opinion, I think that people kind of overlook that need for light.
Oh, no, they
directly
don't.
over the stuff. They do not.
they do not overlook it. No. Nope. They're already very conscious of the type of lighting they need for their kitchens and bathrooms.
Yeah, and that task light is super important, and then the right color light. I know I don't want to make this about lighting totally, but you can't really have too warm of a light over a stove because you can't tell when the meat's done because it's colored the meat. You know what I mean? Like you changing the colors of things. You need like a super white, like true light, right? Or sterile.
Cold.
That's
5,000 Kelvin.
Yeah. Because or else you'll like, is this done? How come it's done on the stove, but then when I walk over to the table, it doesn't look done? That's the light is the culprit. That's kind of a big deal. How are you lighting above a stove then?
How are you lighting above a stove?
If you have a really fancy, let me paint the picture. If you have a really fancy stove, a Viking or one of those that requires a hood.
Yeah. The light's already in the hood.
In the hood?
Mm-hmm.
They get one of those old school lights that had like the aluminum bowl around it that clamps onto the edge.
And there's also a fan.
This is my meat light.
Yeah, the meat light.
Not heard that one yet.
No, that's new. That's new. Keep it. Keep it family.
We got to
keep it family.
Trademark that there.
Trademark.
We're gonna have T-shirts.
You said that when you clamp it on and you pull it down. Oh, my meat's done.
This hood comes with a headlamp. But it's less elegant, I thought, with lights in the hood.
You don't see them. It's less elegant.
Well, I'm picturing where would you put the light?
Are you thinking like a commercial metal one, or because a lot of hoods are just a unit and you have like a really nice built hood
around it, and then it's an insert.
It's like covering the.
Yeah, you don't see it.
In my mind, that was the hood, like that.
And you can always we've added lights to those, like you have your hood, and then there have been people that are like, I need more light, and then LED gets added under. Because
you can, as long as you know that going in.
Yeah.
So you can allow for the channel for the LED, but because you typically in the kitchen you've got overhead lighting, which is typically recessed, under cabinet lighting. If you have space above your kitchen, above the cabinets, we do upper lighting,
right?
Toe kick lighting.
That way you can see all the dust.
I know
that you miss otherwise.
Yeah.
I got 2 dogs. I've never gotten all the hair ever. There's never been a day.
And then proper lighting over an island. So whether it's pendants or recessed or whatever. So
when we come back, I do have something that you said pendants. That's kind of like a bone of contention with me and pendant lighting. But I guess we'll address that when we come back. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors and Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential, and you're listening to us on Michiana's News Talk 95.3 MNC. We are brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply. Everything, windows, countertops, doors, cabinets, and a lot more at a showroom right in Granger, right next to C. Kramer Interiors. I was trying to mix it up a little, but all I did was sound mixed up. But whatever.
You mixed it up?
Yeah, I did. But you paid attention.
We did.
Right? Leatherman Supply. You know where it is. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. We're talking about, a little potpourri of stuff. But we were talking about lighting over your stove. And, it's totally possible. I think most people who aren't on maybe a custom kitchen or like they're in a builder's kitchen, I don't know how else to put it, like you bought a new house and it was the classic microwave over, stove type setup there, which is a necessity sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. Joel's like, it's never a necessity.
I don't love it. Those things don't operate like what people expect them to.
How do you
assume it's... Those things don't move enough with air.
They really don't.
They don't, not even close.
And then all it does is take it from the stove and blow it out at the top of the microwave. So
you can do that. I mean, you can vent those outside.
You can, but
why don't
most people
in new
don't.
Construction?
Most
I don't see that happening.
I don't understand why. And our house is no
That's the easiest
different.
time to do it.
Yeah.
Yes,
but they don't.
I know.
So you can take a vent in a microwave and vent it outside?
They're made for it, yeah, so that you can vent it outside.
Huh. Is that hard to do in retro?
No. It's actually fairly
I'm asking
simple.
for a friend.
Yeah. The problem is it wasn't set up for it. So who knows how to get the vent out of there?
Yeah, like big drill.
So it depends on where you're. Yeah, because if it's in the middle of where your studs are, where the
a lot of things have to happen.
A lot of things have to align.
Yeah, that really bugs me. By the way,
knowing that.
Yeah, because for me personally, when we bought the house, I bet we wouldn't live there because that really bothers me because it's senseless.
Yeah, you're just recirculating the air in the same space.
It's doing nothing.
Zero. Yeah.
It's catching a bunch of grease underneath your microwave.
Yeah, because that's what I'm talking about. And then redepositing it. Because it's,
on your ceiling now.
It's not. Because no, the cabinets catch it.
Yeah.
That's true, too. Oh, yeah.
So that's like a
and then
bi-weekly
then the
job.
dust gets on it. And
Yep.
Wow. And it's all because somebody didn't
take the next step.
10 minutes to make sure that it was prepped for event.
The $45 that it would take.
Yep. Oh, that's a cost we can't absorb. Can't pass that on either.
Well, that's the problem, right? I bought a home that was part of, 45, 50 homes they were building that year.
Yeah.
So they get that, what is that, economy of scale? So if they don't put that vent in 50 homes, they saved $5,000 or whatever.
Well, that's true.
But the homeowner got $100,000 worth of grief.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's a fact.
Most people don't think about it, though.
No, right. So they don't pay attention to it. But listen to Measure Twice. Yeah. Walk in that kitchen. Make sure the vents outside. If not, make that part of your closing. I think it's that worth it.
I agree.
And it's really, you saved yourself 20 hours a year of cleaning.
Yeah.
Right? Easily. That just by having it go outside.
Absolutely.
Seriously. And the other thing is, if it doesn't have a tankless water heater or a continuous water heater, that too. Demand.
Yeah.
You can
maybe a pot filler.
Pot filler too. Pot filler's still a little bit of luxury until you have one, and then it becomes a necessity.
Aren't all luxuries until you have it, and then it's a necessity?
That's a necessity, right? Heated seats in cars.
Oh, can't imagine not having one.
I hate that.
Heated steering wheels.
Can't imagine not having. Once you have it,
once you have it,
I
hate that.
He drives a pickup truck to work and drives it around.
You don't like a heated seat?
No.
Why?
My wife. It just makes me way too hot. I run a little warm anyway, but I'll hop in and drive my wife's vehicle and the heated seats on, and I'm like moving around and like, man, why is this thing so uncomfortable? And then I realize, she still has her seat on high.
When you get to a certain age, you just think you're having a stroke.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've driven right to the emergency room. They're like, "Sir, your seat warmer's on." I'm like, "Oh, thank God."
My car out there has heat that blows onto your back from the seat to the back of your neck.
Really?
Oh, it's like heaven.
Does it also massage?
No, it doesn't massage. It just blows this warm air on your neck, and it's like, oh my God, this is the best.
I can't have that. I'd fall asleep. I would be like,
then you forget it's on. All of a sudden, you're going, God, why is it so hot?
I am very, very warm.
Why is my neck burning?
Cool. We didn't even know you were a redneck. Now we know why.
Yeah.
Does it do cold?
I ate.
You might be a redneck. He's coming to town, by the way.
Is he really?
Jeff Foxworthy's coming to town.
He's still around? I didn't know he's still around.
Yeah, he's still funny.
He is funny.
It's the place isn't a sponsor, so I'm not going to say where.
All right, okay.
But we'll call him. Maybe we'll get him out there. But does it do cold air on your car? I bet it does. It does not.
Just hot. Because guess it's for people who like to put the top down when it's cold.
Oh, there you go. Well, you did show up with the top down today. So
yeah, I did. It was 28 degrees. Hey, why not? It was a heat wave.
Warmest day in 3 weeks. So.
That's right. His top's cracked because of the cold air.
Yeah.
But we do talk.
My hair was wet too, so
that one hair.
Yeah, that's why.
Whoa!
Oh boy!
He would have said hairs.
Don't get personal.
But we're kind of talking about things that turn into luxury.
Comes that one hair.
It's like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
It's a luxury.
But things do luxuries turn into necessities, Chris. You're right. Like after a while,
Once you've had it, you don't go back. You don't want to go back.
if we're talking about cars, it's cooled seats for me.
I don't like it. I feel like I wet my pants.
He's constantly.
Is that a variable for you, Chris?
Anymore.
Could be.
Once you think you have to go, it's too late. You already went.
I think I had to go, is what it says. Excuse me, I had to go to the bathroom. What? Did he say had?
I thought it was like, oh, no. Oh, my cool seats weren't on.
They were.
That would be the heated seat.
Oh my goodness.
You're warming it up.
I think, speaking of that, though, I think having splitters in your HVAC where you can do each room, I think that's a luxury that becomes a necessity once you have it. When you
A splitter.
So you're saying so you can
Turn it off?
zones. Right, I said splitter, sorry.
I just closed the register.
That room's air conditioned in the winter.
No heat there.
But without that, though, I've seen systems where each room has its own heat. You know, it can be
More
highly specific temperature. I think that's kind of becomes once you have that, it becomes something you always want to have.
Well, it's the same with like the heated tile, the floor heat for your tile. People, once they have it, it's like, oh boy, I couldn't ever.
Yeah, we're not going back. We're not going back.
It's interesting how many people, when you bring it up while they're remodeling the bathroom, don't want it initially.
I know.
And then you say, well, it's really not that expensive. And then they'll think, okay, because I think they think the cost is going to be prohibitive.
Right. It's one of those things where in their mind, it's more expensive than it really is.
And then once they find out that it's not that expensive and then they do it, they're like, oh, I'm so glad. That was probably one of the best decisions we've made.
It is.
Well, and really, frankly, once your tile's heated up, it doesn't cost that much to keep it warm.
Right, it's electric. It's not generally a big area, and
No, it's all low voltage. It's just
tile responds really well to it too, because of what it is.
It'll hold the heat.
Yeah, I mean it is one of those.
Not in my house.
No, well, I guess there are
It's a constant breeze over the tile that knocks it down a little bit.
There's specific situations.
I thought this was supposed to be heated.
One of the things that I don't see a lot of, but I've seen it a pretty good amount of times in other markets, is the garage door sensor, where you pull up to your garage and it opens. It knows your car.
Oh, that's nice.
That is
Ooh, that would be really nice.
It's pretty
so you
cool.
don't have to hit a button.
You don't hit anything.
Oh,
you
man.
just
hitting that button. Oh, so obnoxious.
So is it programmed to
It's
your...
one of those things, though, that you're like, hitting a button's not a big deal until you don't ever have to hit it again. And then you're like, wait a minute.
Well, but it has to be programmed to your vehicle.
It's
because
GPS.
Anybody could then pull up to your garage and open it.
It's GPS for your car.
Interesting.
It knows your car.
So is it a sensor on the outside of the garage?
It is, it's like on the ones that I've seen are on the garage.
Well, if it's GPS, why would you...
It wouldn't have to be, I wouldn't think.
No, the unit I saw is on the garage door unit, but it's separate.
Interesting.
But it's been
would be amazing.
It's amazing. It's my friend he lives in a. Anyway, let's talk about when we come back. We're a little bit out of time. This is Measure Twice. Welcome back to Measure Twice. I'm Rob Perugini, along with Joel Graber from Graber Custom Remodeling and Chris Kramer from C. Kramer Interiors. This is the show that helps you envision your home's potential. And we're brought to you, you're listening to us on Machinist News Talk 95.3 MNC. We're brought to you in part by Leatherman Supply, everything windows, doors, cabinets, and countertops, with the showroom now opening Granger right next to C. Kramer Interiors. And Hoosier Hardwood Floors, Michiana's trusted and valued experts on hardwood floors. You can visit them at HoosierHardwoodFloors.com. So we were talking about something that's kind of neat, and it's the garage door that knows when you're home.
That is actually
when you
really
pull up
cool.
to it.
So there's two versions that I've seen. One is set up to a smart home,
Okay.
so it knows your phone.
I have a dumb home. So
I do too. I have an ignorant home.
Yes, right.
And it just knows when you're home. So it knows when your phone's been away, and it knows when it's coming back, and it's like hooked through. I want to say like Alexa or iHome or
Right, yeah.
It knows if you've been sleeping. It knows if you're awake.
It's Santa Claus version. That's what it is. And only operable in the North Pole.
It knows if you've been bad or good.
So, but I'm telling you, it was really neat. The person lives in a super nice neighborhood out west, and the things that this guy doesn't have to do that other people have to do is amazing, because he has all this automation. He's a tech guy, so he's got it all. He's got, and he's like, yeah, the garage door knows when I want to open it, because it knows how far away I've been as I approach. And he's like, my phone will buzz, giving me the opportunity to not open the garage door if I don't want. But if not, it's opening in time for his car to be able to just pull in. So it's not like you pull up and then it opens. It's like it knows.
You just roll on in.
He just cruises right into the thing.
Does he have a pad that then rotates the vehicle so that he doesn't have to back out of the garage?
Wouldn't that be great? He is Batman.
That would be.
I'm just curious. Or another garage door on the backside that just goes straight out.
So, we talk about barn dominiums in here all the time. That is a luxury of a barn dominium. If you've ever looked at plans, some of those garages have that double door where you just
Right through.
Yeah. Why not?
I think it's fantastic.
Why not do that? The other thing that he has that is a ridiculously luxury thing. Now, this is one of those things that I think that you could probably give or take. But he has this like fogging windows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They just get opaque by some
For privacy
magic. I'm not sure. But he's like, yeah, he has because he overlooks, obviously, has a great view. And what are the windows called that are above the window? Transom. His transoms, so at night, his windows fog at a certain time. Right? And then in the morning, just the transoms unfog.
To let the light in.
And that's how he wakes up in the morning.
Nice.
He's like the Dalai Lama. I'm making him sound like he's way less sophisticated. He's kind of a good old boy that has just happened into this stuff. But it's kind of funny. And he's like, I love it. He's like, my blinds open when I want them to. But they're not blinds. It's like that, like Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shades, roller shades.
Yeah. Well, they kind of just fog.
You're talking the fog.
Oh.
I don't know how it does it, but but he's a gadget guy. He's got all that stuff. But the garage door, I think, is one of those that is, you don't know you want to have it till you have it.
Right.
Then once you have
you have it, you don't ever want to be without it again.
I could see that. That is pretty cool.
Now there's one that has GPS that knows when you're around. But I love that. We had that at my old house. I don't have that at this house. They were luxuries.
And you may not even know that's out there.
Right.
There's so much in that.
Yeah. Until you have it or hear about it or see it or.
When we talk about like little things like having a dishwasher that's just for glasses, like this,
Yeah.
so that you're not running a hole or just silverware or whatever.
Yep.
You could do it all up there. You don't know you need that till you have it.
Yep.
It's but you'll probably end up using that more than the other one.
Oh, for sure, man. I think about that. I'm like, man, I'd love to have one of those for like my bar area. Just keep all my tumblers and stuff there.
Right. It's not like having that TV in the kitchen type thing. I'm talking about like more like kind of useful things. That are the boiler burner. That's the other one on the stove. Having the one giant burner that you can boil water in like a minute.
Ice makers.
Do
a lot of ice makers.
When you say ice makers, you don't mean like in the refrigerator.
No, just straight ice.
Just straight ice makers in a bar area
That are just constantly
making ice.
Well, and those things have come so far too, to where now they're your ice isn't all freezing together.
Yeah, that's all.
That
I
was
could
always
think
like
about.
the knock on them, but yeah, they're so much better now.
What kind of witchcraft are they doing that the ice is not sticking
It
together?
has to do with how it's drained.
It's plastic.
It's not real ice.
Yeah, I know.
Not real ice.
Look, it's a
Petroleum-based ice.
I need some benzene in my ice. No, I'm just kidding. But
You got city water?
the there's a thing now where you can you get like steel bearings, and you have them in the freezer, and you put them in like drinks so it doesn't water them down. And,
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
and I don't know if I'm for that.
I mean they have those with like stone, like different types of
The
stones.
stones and stuff. I don't know if that's a luxury or just a novelty.
I think that's a novelty.
Because
Those you end up getting rid of those.
yeah, you just want ice. But the ice maker, when you're saying ice maker though, like how big of a unit?
They're not that large. They're only like 15 inches wide.
Yeah, 15, 18 inches
Yeah.
typically.
Like floor to counter type thing.
Yeah,
for
it
that?
sits under your counter
And it just takes a water supply and
Yep, and a drain.
in a drain.
a drain, and then the drain's kind of important.
Yeah.
Yes.
The an update on the water dog, by the way, which stops the
Yeah.
thing. I'm not ever going to install that on my own.
Oh no.
No, that is a professional
complicated?
situation. It's not complicated in that you're just inserting
YouTube it.
Yes, yes.
That's why he knows he doesn't want to do it.
I know. It's like, if you have to YouTube it, call somebody.
It's look, the part where you stick it in there, that's simple. I could totally do that. It's calibrating it so it knows what's a leak and what isn't a leak. That's where you need the pro. Because YouTube
Turn
was
this water
giving
on.
me, I'm serious. YouTube
No
was
water.
giving me
He's getting no water.
you just stop if like two people take a shower at the same time, it's like, oh shoot. No water.
It's a flood.
Zero water. Anyway, I just wanted to Charlie's really trying to get a hold of you.
There's a big mission.
Tom Bosley's on the phone. That's a name you haven't heard in a long time. He was on Charlie's Angels and 8 is Enough. Look at him yawn.
I can't stop. I'm
He's
sorry,
so
fellas.
tired.
It was wrestling a 12-year-old.
Exactly.
Well, let's not.
Wait,
I don't know what kind of accusation. Well, you know what?
This guy makes me sound like such a creep.
Joel is a wrestling coach.
Joel is a wrestler.
Okay.
That did not come
And
out.
on that
That's
note,
why-
this has been Measure Twice.
Oh, I'm
very much.
sorry. I did not.
Podcasts by Federated Media.